Welcome to the Mayberry Minute. This is Pastor Chris, and it is February the 26th, Friday, February the 26th, and I'm glad that you're with me for today's message. I want to take you to the little town of Mayberry this morning for a typical Sunday morning. The folks at Mayberry would be getting ready to head off to church. And on this particular episode entitled The Sermon for Today, Aunt Bee and Andy and Opie were running a little late. So they were in a hurry to get to church. Now the church that everyone attended was All Souls Church. The sermon for the day, What's Your Hurry? And they had a guest speaker. And as he entered the pulpit after all the singing and after all the announcements, he entered the pulpit, and this is how his sermon began. As I stood there during the singing of the hymn, I asked myself, what message have I for the good people of Mayberry? And I was reminded of an instance. A young man came to me recently and said, Mr. Breen, what is the meaning of it all? I said to him, young man, I am glad you asked. My friends, I wish more of us found time to ask that question. Where are we headed and why? Why this senseless rush, this mad pursuit, this frantic competition, this pace that kills? Why do we drive ourselves as we do? In our furious race these days to conquer outer space, are we perhaps forgetting inner space? Shall we find the true meaning of life by fleeing from it? He goes on in his message to talk about the importance of finding inner peace, taking time to relax. But in typical fashion of Mayberry, there were those within the congregation who took that opportunity to do a little relaxing
Young man,
themselves.
I'm glad you asked. My friends, I wish more of us found the time to ask that question. Why do we drive ourselves as we do? In our furious race these days to conquer outer space, are we not perhaps forgetting inner space?
Now for Gomer, that he began to relax pretty early during the message. For Barney, it took a little longer into the message before he found time to relax a little bit.
From morn to night, we have forgotten the meaning of the word relaxation. What has become of the old-fashioned ways, the simple pleasures of the past? A simple, innocent pleasure.
Now you might wonder, why in the world, of all the people, of all the communities, of all the little towns that might need a lesson on relaxing, why would the folks of Mayberry need to be reminded of our fast-paced world that we live in and the necessity to take the time to find inner peace, take the time to rest and enjoy a little peace and quiet? Well, it turns out the episode was built around that dilemma. And the rest of the episode illustrated that even in Mayberry, we find it hard to relax. We find it difficult to enjoy the a little peace and quiet. They got so carried away and so busy, so worked up about reminiscing of the older days when things were slower, that they worked themselves silly that afternoon. Now, the point of the message and of the episode is, fairly clear. What is our hurry? Last year most of us were forced to take a little break. And for many people, they were able to reconnect with their families, reconnect with themselves, and even reconnect with God. But if experience is a guide, and if you're like me at all, then it won't take long to develop those habits again. Habits that make you feel guilty when you sit down, when you have nothing to do, or you push everything to the side and say, no, I'm done for the day. I'm going to enjoy family, or I'm going to enjoy time with my spouse, or I'm going to enjoy just a simple conversation, or I'm going to spend some time in prayer with God. We can feel guilty when we're not doing stuff, constantly in a rush. So this episode is a simple reminder to find that peace, that inner balance in our lives. And often it's found when we slow down enough to reconnect with God. I want to leave us with a verse, two verses actually, from Philippians. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all that He has done.
Yes, sir, you really hit the nail right.
Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus.